Hey friends, are you looking for some easy dinner solutions this week? Say hello to Casseroles, your new best friends. They're versatile, budget-friendly, perfect for those busy weeknights, and really just the ultimate cozy comfort food. I can't get enough of them. Today I'm sharing 3 brand new casserole recipes that are simple to make and sure to become new family favorites. Let's get started. Today we're starting with 2 pounds of ground beef that I'm cooking up over on top of the stovetop. That's a lot more than I usually cook, but I'm actually doubling today's recipe. This is a crunch wrap casserole. You guys have seen me make the individual ones all the time in lots of different varieties, but this is the first time I'm attempting this casserole and I'm doubling it. So I've got the ground beef cooking up. I'm also dicing up a really good size sweet Vidalia onion, and I'm going to get the excess grease out of my skillet before I put my onions in and get all of those all cooked up together. Now that my ground beef is all done and my onions are getting nice and softened, I'm going to add in 2 envelopes of taco seasoning. Just use your favorite. We're basically just making taco meat here, but we're not going to add quite as much water. I'm just using 1/3 cup per each pack, so a total of 2/3 cup water. Now let's get everything combined and coated and seasoned and let it simmer just a couple minutes, and we'll set it back here off the stove eye and put our little casserole together, or casseroles together. I've been seeing this casserole all over TikTok, and I've been thinking, now girl, that looks like something you could really screw up good. So we have to try it. Tonight we're having a family get together celebrating Patrick's birthday. So, you know, I'm just gutsy enough. I said, honey, let's make 2. So first time ever making these, we're going to make 2. But you know what? I ain't scared. I ain't scared one bit. It's my family too, and they love me. If I mess it up, you know what? There's a Pizza Hut right down the road. So I ain't too worried about it. We're going to make these in 2 9x13 pans. I've melted about 3 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to use half of it in this pan and half of it in that pan. Just want to coat the bottom really well. And we want to go up the sides too. This will make it pretty and brown, and it'll also keep it from sticking. I've also seen this done on a really big sheet pan, and I thought about doing that because I'm feeding a lot of people. But I'll just be honest with you, I liked the looks of it nice and thick in the 9x13. I'm taking about 5 flour tortillas, and you do want them hanging off the sides a little bit because we're going to end up folding this back over. And for reference, I'm using these burrito size flour tortillas. So I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like it's taken me 5 to get my bottom covered and leaving the sides hanging out. That sounds funny, don't it? We all want our bottoms covered, but we don't want our sides hanging out most of the time. I'm sorry, that just struck me funny. Bottom covered, sides hanging out. Okay, I've recovered now. I'm taking just plain old mild cheddar cheese. You can use any kind of cheese that you want, but we're going to put about 2 cups of this right here across the bottom. Going to spread it out and make sure that we get it all the way to the sides. Next, we're going to put in a layer of tomatoes, and I just chose to go with a canned petite diced tomato, just really to make it easier on myself. I did drain them the best I can. You don't want it, you know, super soggy here. And if you want to, when you're making your ground beef, you can just stir these tomatoes right into your beef mixture. But I don't know, something that I really like about the crunch wrap is seeing all the different layers. I like that. So I wanted to keep them separate. Now that we have our tomatoes spread out real evenly, I'm taking 8 ounces of sour cream and just spreading it across the top. If you want to, you can put this down in a plastic bag and squirt it out. That makes it real easy, but I'm just smearing mine around. It's fine. Now the very favorite part of the crunch wrap is the good old tostada. This does not have to be perfect. We're just gonna lay these down in here. Try to break that one. Looks like we are good and covered here. I'm just gonna go ahead and break this one up and use all of it. Then we're gonna take a 15-ounce can of just, nacho cheese sauce like you get at the ballpark. We didn't say this was a healthy recipe. We said this was a crunch wrap copycat Taco Bell casserole. I'm not heating this up because this is gonna get heated in the oven. I'm just taking it right out of the can. Spreading it all from side to side. Ain't there something just about ballpark nachos though? Nothing beats that taste. Now I'm taking half of the taco meat onion mixture and spreading it right over the top. Again, we're just getting it all evenly laid out here. This is smelling so good. I can't wait. Now I'm just gonna take one more of those big flour tortillas and we're just gonna start folding these in. A lot of folks that I have seen make this have had to use toothpicks in theirs to get it to like stay closed, but so far, so good. Looks like mine's staying. Then I'm going to take the last little bit of butter I have left and brush it all across the top. So for each little crunch wrap casserole, you're using about 3 tablespoons of butter. 1.5 tablespoons on the bottom, and then 1.5 tablespoons on the top. I've also seen people just spray this with like avocado oil spray or nonstick spray, but when I fry them up, I like to fry them in butter, so I'm using butter. Also, if this doesn't stay put, I've seen people bake it with a baking sheet over the top until this sticks, and then they'll take it off and continue to bake it. I'm going to put mine in a 350-degree oven, and I've seen people cook them at 350 and 375 for 30 minutes. This is how they're looking after 10 minutes, so I am going to increase my temperature to 375. After just 5 minutes at 375, this is how they're looking. I am going to cut it back down to 350, and I think I'm going to let it go about 10 more minutes, so it'll be a total of about 30 minutes. Here's what we came out with, friends, and you need to let them sit here for about 5 minutes, which is perfect because I'm transporting them over to my in-laws for the little get-together. So mine will sit for a good little bit. Then we're going to flip them out onto a cutting board, cut them into pieces. We're going to serve them up with lettuce and sour cream, guacamole, whatever everybody wants. Usually when I make crunch wraps, I put the lettuce inside, but I thought we would do it on the top because these may be sitting a little while before everybody's, able to get to them and ready to eat. I didn't want them to get, limp. I like that lettuce to still be crisp in there. I'm not a big guacamole fan. I love chopped avocados, but I just didn't like the guacamole dip. But recently I've been stirring in about half sour cream and half guacamole, squeeze a little bit of lime juice on it, salt and pepper it, and mix that up, and it makes a delicious dip. It's much better than sour cream on its own or guacamole on its own. One of my recent HelloFresh recipes had me mix this little dip up, and I've loved it, and I've been hooked on it ever since. And this was so delicious. I will never fry them individually again. I can imagine how good it would have been right hot out of the oven, just sitting maybe 5 minutes. One of these days, I'm going to get to eat a crunch wrap when it's hot. The cook never gets to eat a hot one, but with this one, you do. And you can almost just eat this with your hand if you don't have to pile it full of stuff like I do. And the birthday boy, he actually said that he liked the casserole better than when I fry them individually. And that's saying a lot because we really love these crunch wraps. This was perfect for family dinner. We blew through the 2 of these with very few leftovers with our family. And I forgot to get a picture of the delicious and beautiful cake that Ryan made too. We made quick work of that as well. All of tonight's casseroles are perfect for busy weeknights and the cozy fall evenings to come. They're easy, delicious, and filling. To make them even better, I can't wait to share today's sponsor with you. It's Good Chop. Good Chop delivers high-quality meat and seafood right to your door. Their customizable boxes let you choose exactly what you want, whether it's premium cuts or everyday essentials for recipes like these casseroles. I've been using Good Chop for well over a year, and the difference in flavor has been amazing. If you're a regular viewer, you've seen us eat Good Chop's 100% grass-fed ribeyes, filet mignons, wild-caught salmon, free-range and organic chicken breast, ground beef, shrimp, thick-cut bacon, and more. With over 70 high-quality cuts available, they have something for everyone. And I enjoy the convenience of not only the home delivery, but that Good Chop products are vacuum sealed and flash frozen at peak freshness, making it easy for me to stock my freezer and pull out whatever I need when I need it. And Good Chop prides itself on sourcing meat that comes with no antibiotics or added hormones ever. No artificial ingredients, only the good stuff. And they back it up with a 100% money-back guarantee. By choosing Good Chop, you're helping support local family farms and independent ranchers right here in the U.S. Unlike many other companies, Good Chop sources its meat and seafood exclusively from American farms and fisheries. Customize your box today at goodchop.com/YouTube. Use code MOMMAMAIL130, or you can click the link in the caption below to get $130 off across your first 4 boxes. Take advantage of these savings and enjoy Good Chop's high-quality meat and seafood delivered right to your door. Go to goodchop.com/YouTube, use code MOMMAMAIL130, or click the link below to get $130 off across your first 4 boxes. And thanks Good Chop for being a longtime supporter of my channel. We're trying a brand new casserole tonight. This is a creamy sausage Alfredo bake. I cannot wait to give it a try. The only prep work is to dice up an onion, and I'm using just a little medium-sized Vidalia onion. I'm going to get that out of the way first. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get a big pot of water boiling for my pasta because I don't want to be waiting for a watched pot of water to boil. Back over in my skillet, I've got a couple tablespoons of oil heated up. I'm going to add my onions in. Just going to saute these a few minutes until they begin to get sort of translucent and softened. Into that boiling salted water, we're going to put in 12 ounces of pasta. I'm using a whole grain penne. I had a 16-ounce box of that, so I'm just going to use about 3/4 of that box. You could definitely use rigatoni or any kind of noodle that's like a tube, because you want that to hold some of the sauce we're going to make. And we're just going to cook this until it's al dente. Then I'm going to reserve about half a cup of this pasta water in case I want to thin out my sauce a little bit later. Now that my onions are pretty well on their way, I'm just going to add in a pound of sausage here. Now, I'm not a big fan of Italian sausage, so I'm not using Italian sausage. But definitely, if you like it, this is the dish to put it in. I'm just using my old favorite breakfast sausage, and I'm just using the mild flavor because that's what I like. If you like hot things, this is definitely a dish that would be good made with some spicy meat and stuff like that, if you like that. I like a little bit of heat, but I like to be in charge of it and control it. Just want to cook this sausage all the way through and really get it nice and crumbled up while it's cooking. And I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using a lot of garlic in here. I'm putting about 1.5 tablespoons of some minced garlic in here. Get that all incorporated and let it get fragrant. Now that my sausage is cooked all the way through, I'm just going to remove this cooked meat, onions, and garlic over to a little bowl. You do want to get most of the grease out of your pan, but save about a tablespoon of it to make our Alfredo sauce. I've got my pan cut down to like a medium low here, and we're just going to melt in 1 stick of butter. I've got my butter all melted down, and I'm going to put in probably a tablespoon more of garlic into our sauce. We're just going to saute this up for just a minute. The recipe says to stir in 2.5 cups of heavy cream. I chose to go a little bit lighter, and I'm using 16 ounces of half and half. Then I'm just going to pour in 1/2 cup of regular milk. I'm going to slowly incorporate this mixture together, and we're going to let it simmer like this for about 5 minutes, just stirring it ever so often. Now we're going to whisk in about 3/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, just the kind in the little green can. Let's give it just a little bit of salt. Doesn't need a whole lot, but I do like to put some black pepper in here. Get it all whisked together and let it thicken up just a little bit here. I mentioned I'm not a lover of super spicy things, but I am going to put just a few little flakes of red pepper in here. That'll just give it just a little snippet there of flavor without adding too much heat. This is looking really, really good. Smells even better. Let's start assembling all these pieces together. Today I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to assemble everything in the largest pot. If you're new here, sometimes I don't always think ahead of myself like that. Let's pour in our Alfredo sauce here. Now we're going to put in our sausage and onion mixture. We're also going to stir in 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. Now, let's just get to combining everything together. This is going to feed an army. This is an awful lot of food. I will definitely be taking some of this to share with my parents and my in-laws. I love that mozzarella melt. Look at that. Oh gosh. Now we're going to pour all of this mixture into a greased 9x13 casserole dish. My dish is actually a little bit bigger than a 9x13, but I don't think that's going to be a problem here. This is a lot of sausage and pasta. We're just going to cover the top with about another cup of mozzarella cheese. And this is definitely not on my diet, but I'm just going to watch my portions on it and do the best I can here tonight. I like to sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning over the top of any kind of dish like this, and we're going to bake it in a 350-degree oven, maybe 30 minutes, maybe not that long. Everything in here is cooked. We just want it to get warm, the cheese to melt, and get brown and bubbly. As soon as I saw this recipe, I couldn't get my mind off of it. Couldn't wait to try it. So let's try a bite. That is really, really good. Super good. I always make a recipe pretty much just like it says the first time I make it. And that's really good. You could make this with ground beef. Patrick loves the sausage though. I would say this one thing I would add, which I think that is what's throwing me off about the sausage, is some cream cheese, because sausage and cream cheese, that just seems to go together for me. But this is pretty delicious, I have to say. The longer it sits here, the better I like it too, because the first bite I got was pretty hot. Now, something else that I need to show you guys that you asked me about. I'm going to put a little bit of this back. You got to make it look pretty, you know, for the channel, but I don't need to eat that much. You guys asked me about my salads, and that tickles me to death because I love salads. Y'all are always asking me, like, what are these little things like that? And you see sunflower seeds and stuff on my salads. I love the crunchy bits. I love these little salad toppings from McCormick's, crunchy and flavorful. I buy these. I've been buying these for years and I love them. I really like that the McCormick has sunflower seeds, and that looks like probably imitation bacon bits, and I don't know what all's in there, but I really like that McCormick has all of these. Something we just finished off tonight are these crispy red peppers, and if you like the little charred red peppers that come with the Chick-fil-A salads, this is them. And Walmart is the only store I've ever been able to find these at. And we have 2 Walmarts in our town. I can only find them at one of them. So they're kind of like a little unicorn. And speaking of the Chick-fil-A charred tomato crispy red bell peppers, I had a feeling that I would definitely be getting me a Chick-fil-A meal before this video came out. And I wanted to show you this little salad that I fix up. This is just a side salad, and it comes with the little charred tomatoes. Then I order the 5-count chicken nuggets, and I cut them up in little bitty tiny pieces. Then I just top my salad with these nuggets. I love the garden herb ranch. I also like the avocado lime. I try not to use all of this dressing, but even if you do use the entire packet, this little meal is 600 calories. Most days I don't eat breakfast, especially if I know I'm going to be out running errands. And then I can grab this on my way home. And this is a totally filling lunch. 600 calories. Not too shabby if you ask me. It's filling and delicious. And for those of you wondering, I'm down now about 11.5 pounds on my little weight loss journey. It's taken me about 15 weeks or so. But I kind of plateaued for a bit, had to change up my walking routine and some of my exercise routine to get my metabolism back to moving. It kind of got used to what I was doing. A lot of times when I'm putting a chicken dish together, I'll mention that this is some chicken that I've prepped in the crock pot. And today I'm going to show you how I do that because I always get a lot of questions about it, and it's been quite a while since I showed you. Today I've got 2 packs of chicken, and these packs from Good Chop each contain 2 breasts. One more little tip that I just thought of is I keep this bowl in my outside refrigerator, and when I need to defrost meat, I always do it in this bowl. You can see here there's nothing in here, but if you have ever had some meat that maybe you've packaged up in a zipper bag or something, every now and again it will leak when it's thawing out, and this keeps your fridge from getting all scrungy. And I'll just use this, wash it up, and it just stays in that refrigerator right beside my deep freezer out in the garage. The first thing I'm going to do is just give my crock pot a spray with some non-stick cooking spray. I'm going to place my chicken breast down inside my crock pot. I put these over into the refrigerator to thaw last night, so they're still just a little bit frozen, but really that's good for what I'm doing today. I like to use just a real general seasoning. When I'm prepping chicken, I'm using salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and a little bit of onion powder too. By seasoning it up like this, I can use it in any kind of dish I want. It's not going to be like a Tex-Mex flavor or an Italian-y flavor. It's just going to have some nice taste and seasoning to it. Then I can make it whatever I want. And I'm using my 4-quart crock pot today, so my chicken's a little bit stacked on top of each other, so I'm going to lift it up and season the pieces under the bottom too. If my chicken was fully defrosted, I might add a little bit of chicken broth to this while it's cooking, but since mine is still just a little bit frozen, it's going to release some liquid as it cooks, so I'm just going to dot the top of this with a little bit of butter. I've got errands and I'm going to be gone for a few hours today, so I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to cook mine on high. You just want to make sure it gets to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. When my chicken is done, I'm just going to shred it up. Depending on how much liquid is in the crock pot, I might take it out and shred it, or I might just shred it up in the crock pot. But always save that juice because you can mix some of it back into your chicken and it keeps it nice and moist. And part of this I'm going to use for a casserole I'm making tonight. The rest of it, I'm just going to put it in a freezer bag, label it, stick it in the freezer, and on a future date, future Melanie will thank past Melanie for doing this. Today I'm sharing a delicious chicken casserole I've never shared with you before. This one is a Swiss chicken casserole. This is every bit as easy as my regular Stella's chicken casserole. It's just got a little bit of a different flavor profile. We're greasing a 9x13 casserole dish. I am blessed enough that I cooked up some chicken in the crock pot probably a week ago. When I first started out to make this recipe, things happened, I didn't get it made, so I ended up freezing it all. And I've just had it over in the kitchen sink in some tepid water, thawing out. This is about 2 cups of shredded chicken. And if you want to use fresh chicken, you would just lay down about 4 chicken breasts in here. Your cooking time will just be a little bit longer. You need to make sure your chicken gets to 165 degrees. But I just prefer using my own pre-cooked shredded chicken. It's going to cook up a little bit quicker. And I just like the way the shredded chicken is in the casserole. I think it's a little easier to serve and eat. The next thing we're going to do is just layer some Swiss slices right over the top of our chicken. I'm using about 8 slices here. You just want it to be nice and thick and creamy when all this cheese melts down. Now I'm just going to stir together 1 can of cream of chicken soup with a 1/4 cup of milk. I also like to season on this layer with some salt and pepper, and normally when I'm making my classic Stella's chicken casserole, I'll throw some mayonnaise in this mixture too. But in that chicken casserole, I use a cheddar cheese, and I want everything to have sort of a sharp and tangy taste. And this is a much smoother, milder, gooier profile. Now we're just going to spread our soup and milk mixture right over our Swiss cheese. And the Swiss cheese slices, they just melt so very creamy. We're going to top this casserole with 2 cups of stuffing. I love this kind in the bag for my chicken casseroles. Now, I love a stovetop stuffing too, but on a casserole, I love the bag kind. You could also use the blue bag that is the herb flavored. That's what I used on Stella's chicken casserole, and I've used it on this one too, but I just especially love the warm cornbread flavored stuffing on top of the Swiss chicken. And who am I kidding? I said 2 cups. I'm pretty liberal with my stuffing. You want to make sure everything's covered and, just whatever you want, as much as you want. Then I've melted a stick of butter, and we're just going to drizzle that right over the top of this stuffing mix just to get it nice and moist. Now, if you've used fresh chicken, you can cook this just like it is at 350 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes. Since my chicken's already cooked, I'm going to cover this with foil, and I'm going to bake it at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. Then I'll take the foil off, cook it a few more minutes, and let the top get just as brown as I want it. Look at that cheese. It's hanging off of there. I'm gonna try it first because I can't remember the last time I've made a Swiss chicken casserole instead of like the cheddar one. I love this one. Look at this. Look at that cheese. It's just really simple and like warm and cozy tasting. I love it. And I like the cornbread stuffing too. So good. And if you wanted to put another cheese pull. If you wanted to put some veggies down in here, you could definitely do that, but I just like it is with salad. This is the perfect casserole for busy weeknights with school starting back. One of my favorite things to do is to take a classic casserole or recipe that my family likes and just switch up the flavor profile a little bit. And this one is a perfect example. Making the old new again. Cozy, delicious, wonderful, and ever so easy and versatile. If you can't get enough of casseroles, take a look at this video next. Or if you want to try your hand at some new air fryer recipes or something that doesn't require cooking at all, check this video out. I'll see you there. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I send you love from my kitchen.